If I can have everyone's attention, good morning and welcome to Richmond International Raceway. We will kick off our media availability here in the Media Center with Kevin Harvick, driver of the number 4 Outback Steakhouse Chevrolet, defending race winner, 3 wins here at Richmond. Kevin, talk a little bit about your thoughts on the weekend.
Yeah, this has been a great racetrack for us in the past, I guess. You know, as we've come here through the years, just been fortunate to have a lot of success, and always look forward to coming to this race weekend, just knowing that and hoping that you can contend for a win. So hopefully we can put ourselves in a good spot throughout the weekend and be around somewhere at the end of both races.
All right, we'll open it up for questions. Please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. Do you have a question, Liz? Hang on.
I just was interested in your thoughts on how this new chase format, I know it's far from the chase, but all this change is, in your view, has that changed the dynamic of races, either from your point of view or what you see around you, the way guys are approaching each race?
Well, I think last week was a prime example of what the new format has brought forth, just for the fact that, I mean, we had run pretty much a whole fuel run at Darlington, and he had eight of the first 9 cars, I think. I don't know that number for sure, but there was a tremendous amount of the first 10 cars that put 2 tires on, knowing good and well that there was, that wasn't the right thing to do as far as making your car run as fast as it could. But people are just, trying to take chances to get that win, and I think for us, it hasn't really been. We've been kind of like a Ricky Bobby saying, we've been first or last. So it's there's really been no in between, and it's been the performance of the cars has been really good. Obviously, we've had some problems, but it's just one of those deals where being the points leader and having points is really irrelevant, at this point. So you just go out and try to put your best foot forward every week to get a win and protect yourself as much as you can with as many wins as possible is our goal at this point to get into the first rounds, because the bonus points matter at this point.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Claire, then go to the back with Chris.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. 2 things. One is, if we do not have qualifying today because of rain, how that might affect your efforts here. Obviously, everybody really wants to get pit position and everything. And second of all, the whole thing about it being fun when you race, and it should not be that hard, even though it's grueling for the teams and everybody works so hard at it, that you get to the point where it's just fun, and then all of a sudden the success comes. Are you feeling that now more so?
I've been having fun the whole off season and year, so I know we've had some weeks that things didn't exactly go our way, but there's a lot bigger challenges than a broken part on a race car. So you put it all back together and you come back the next week, and we know our cars have been running well, and that's really what keeps you going. Is we knew we were capable of in our opinion, winning every race that we've been in so far. Obviously those wouldn't have worked out and didn't work out, but the performance of the car has been there, and that keeps you going, and that makes you enthused, and everybody's getting along and having fun, and to me, it's like I said at Darlington, I think that the character of the team has really been tested as we went through the first 8 weeks, and I think I think everybody did a good job with not pointing fingers and not getting overly mad at anybody. It was just things were happening, and we had to continue to do our jobs, and that to me is one of the best things that came out of the first week, was just seeing what the character was of our race team when the chips were down. The rain, I mean, we're going to practice, so qualifying is going to happen, right off the bat here in practice. So turn your TV on, because the qualifying session is to me, the rain didn't look that bad on the radar, but if it rains, it rains. Practice will be over.
Okay. Go ahead with your question, then we'll go to Chris.
Question in the back. Sean Robertson, CBS 6 here at Richmond. Kevin, can you just talk about the chemistry with your team in your first year with StewartHaas, and I guess how it's been able to mesh or gel together so quickly, so soon?
Well, I knew a lot of the people I was going to be working with on the driver's side before I got there. So that part was really done before we even started. Rodney and I, we spent a lot of time together just trying to figure out if this is what he wanted to do. I had committed a long time before that, so we felt that myself and Zippy and Tony and Brett and everybody felt that Rodney was the guy. It was just convincing him to make it happen. So it's hard. I lived it. I lived the same things he was going through. When I had to make the decisions as to what my future was going to hold. So it all worked out, and in that process, we got to know each other really well. And still, as we go through the weeks, you still learn stuff about each other. But we learned the foundation about each other, pretty early on, as we went through that process. So I feel like the relationship between all the guys is really good and strong, and we've been on both sides of it. Like I said a minute ago, we've been on both sides of having success, and we've been on the sides of seeing that success fail by whether it's your own doing or a part failure. It doesn't matter. I mean, when you're in position to win races and something on your car breaks or something happens, everybody feels like crap regardless. So it's a huge test for everybody as you go through those moments, and but the character of the team is there. Everybody gets along well, and nobody really gets wound up. And I think a lot of that starts by Rodney, just because his demeanor is so low emotion. He has such low emotions as you go through any situation, whether you're winning or losing. He doesn't get wound up.
Okay, we'll go. Are you done with your question? Okay, we'll go with Chris.
Kevin, ChrisMikeHitchens.com. There's been a lot of chatter this week, especially on radio, that StewartHaas Racing has been one of the best organizations of 2014, despite the bumps in the road. Do you feel that this is the same way? Do you feel the same as some of the fans have noted? And then also, can you talk about your nationwide car and how strong it was yesterday?
I think as you look at the organization, I think we have a lot of room for improvement. Still a lot of new things that are happening. Obviously, we've been through 8 weeks, and we know that there's a lot of things to work on and improve on. So that's exciting, just for the fact that we've been able to run well with our car, and Kurt's won a race, and Tony's been knocking off some top fives. So I think as you look at everything from the outside looking in, I'm sure it appears that everything's going well, and everything is going well. But from the inside, I feel very strong that there's a ton of room for improvement with a lot of things. So we just have to keep working and not sit on our hands. And whether you win or lose on Sunday or Saturday night in this case, you go back to the shop and you analyze your race just as if you run as if you'd run 20th, because that's what you have to do in order to come back, because everybody who's in this garage is going to do the same thing. So you just you have to keep building, and I think we've done Zipadelli and everybody at SHR has done a great job with everything that they've taken on over the past few years. And Gene has given the resources from a financial standpoint to do the things that we've done in a short amount of time. So just a lot of things that just need to get a little bit better, but they've done a great job of building a great foundation.
Do we have another?
Nationwide car, it's hard to tell. I feel there's not a car here that's going to drive good all weekend. They're all going to feel like crap, just for the fact that the tires wear out, and it's just it's a tough place to get your car to feel really good. So we just have to make ours drive better than everybody else's. And yesterday we had 2 good practices, so hopefully that translates to tonight.
I think we had one more question from the back. Go ahead.
Kevin, Mark Davis, NBC 12 here in Richmond. You have 2 wins this year so far. You won at this track last year. First part, is there momentum to apply here to this race tomorrow night? And then also, what is it about this track that you like?
Yeah, well, this has just been a great racetrack for me, just for the fact that just kind of, for whatever reason, has fit my driving style through the years. I grew up on a lot of flat, wore-out racetracks, and my days at RCR, we spent a lot of time on our flat track programs, short track programs. So, we from my driving, it's become accustomed to these types of tracks. So, as far as the momentum, we won Phoenix early in the year and had 6 very bad weeks finish-wise after that. So, you just ride the wave as far as it'll take you, and the last wave was really short. So, you don't want to get your hopes up. You just want to do your job and hope that things keep going well.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Ryan. Behind you.
Ryan McGee, ESPN. You talk about how you've always liked this racetrack, it's your style racetrack. How's that process work as a driver to walk into a new team with new people, their notes, your notes? How's that go in the meetings?
Well, I told them in the first meeting that we should never lose a short track race. So they all kind of looked at me like I was crazy. But, it's for me, it was exciting just for the fact that I've seen the success that Rodney had on the short track stuff in the past with his previous organization. And, I know that Kurt runs well and Tony runs well. And so you put all that stuff together and you see, the success that we've had here in the past, from my standpoint with winning races and running good, you're just excited about all the short track races. So really excited about every race, but the short tracks in general, just because I know that, I've seen the effort that they put into to the cars and every part and piece from a weight standpoint. So it's fun and everybody expects to run well.
Okay, we'll take our next one from Jeff, then go back to Zach.
Jeff Glove from USA Today. Obviously, kind of coming back here brings up memories of what happened here last September. Do you think the garage has moved on from that, or do you think that it lingers and is kind of still talked about or thought about when we come back?
Well, I think everybody's moved on. Obviously the repercussions. I feel like MWR is probably still feeling those just for the fact that it was bigger to their hit to their organization than anybody else. But I think you'd be silly to not have paid attention to what had happened and understand the reality of situations of what could be lost by handling something wrong. I've handled a lot of situations wrong, maybe not something to that magnitude, but it's still kind of a wake up call to everybody to understand that there's a lot of money and a lot of people watching, and the perception of your actions sometimes can be taken to the extreme, and the repercussions of that can be very extreme as well. So I think everybody has to keep that in mind, but I think everybody's pretty much moved on and understands that the lesson was learned.
Final two questions, Zach, then Dustin.
Albert, NASCAR.com. Just looking ahead a little bit to next week, do you have a sense of how group qualifying will take place at Talladega, and do you guys dread it at all?
I thought about just going home and starting in the back. It's going to be exciting, to say the least, because there's only one way to get a good lap, and that's to catch the pack and have 4 or 5 cars lined up behind you. And so there's going to be we already kind of experienced this once as we went to Talladega last year, and I believe it was the first race when everybody knew it was going to rain on qualifying day. So it's just going to be getting that spot where you get the best pull up to the pack for one lap, to where you can time it right and not have to let off for a pack of cars or something like that. So it'll be interesting, and it's just kind of a crapshoot, just like the race, but it'll be exciting for sure. It'll definitely be better than watching 3.5 hours of one car going around a racetrack. I promise you that, no doubt.
Final question, Dustin.
Dustin Long, MRN.com. Kevin, yesterday Steve O'Donnell talked in Iowa about, in essence, the engine package. They hope to have it formalized and announced before the All-Star race, and essentially they're working in a direction of reducing horsepower. Now, I know how it depends, how much horsepower decreases depends on is a question you can't answer, but with a decrease of horsepower, how does that change what the driver does, whether it's a small amount or a significant amount? How does that change your job with the horsepower reduction in terms of saving tires, how you run, and what kind of an impact can it have? I know maybe not without knowing the exact horsepower.
Yeah, well, I saw some of the I didn't see it, heard about some of the Michigan stuff from when I believe they put a plate on Trevor Bain's car at the tire test in Michigan. The part that everybody's forgetting here, there's two parts to this problem. There's two parts that the less horsepower problem will create. One is the engines are the most expensive things that we do, and there's very few engine manufacturers as we sit in the garage right now. But when you start messing with the engines, the costs go up really, really, really fast. And I believe that our garage is very vulnerable at this particular point with from a cost standpoint. So I believe that NASCAR in general has to keep the cost in mind from where we are and the timing of engines, whether you put a plate on it, whether you put a throttle body on it, whether you change the cubic inch, no matter what you do, the cost of those engines is going to go up if you change the rules. So, you know, I understand there's a safety concern, but when you slow the cars down, the center of the corner speed is going to go up because you're going to be able to carry more speed through the center of the corner because you have a slower car. So when you start messing with the engines, the costs are going to go up because everybody's going to do more R&D. And you slow the cars down, the center of the corners are going to go faster. So you create that problem that you're going to create another problem for Goodyear because the cars are already really fast, so that you're going to have a cost problem and you're going to have a tire problem. So good luck with that from a changing the rules standpoint. Obviously, I'm a big fan of it.
Kevin, thank you very much for your time this morning. Good luck this weekend.